was going to kill someone. I didn't see who it was going to kill, but I saw a funeral. It was the most shameful moment of my life.
Wow.
And that, ooh, it was bad. I wondered if I was going to come out of that. Or I thought I was in a socially acceptable drinking mindset. Just okay, don't remember anything else until I was underneath a streetlight, like peeking up in the dark. What is going on? But I really had a drinking problem, and he told me that. But I didn't want to listen to that. You know, if someone's like, "Oh, you got a problem," well, I don't want to hear that. So, I don't want to let God. I don't want to let people down again.
Welcome to another episode of our podcast. I am your friend, Wafa Omran, and this is Go Beyond. You are an award-winning author who has authored over half a dozen books, and you have your company, Upper Harbor Vitality.
Yep. Upper Harbor Vitality is the LLC, and then my writing company is the Cheeky Scribe.
Oh, the Cheeky Scribe, where you help people write their own books.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you decide to tell your story, and then you came to your business of helping people telling their own stories?
Oh, yes. There's so much to that question. So before I had my son, wrote and published 2 books, and the second one I think I got out while he was still in my belly. I was also an outdoor freelance traveling writer, which I loved. It was so fun. I was getting paid to write and travel, and it was amazing. And then when my son came out and I realized I needed to be a nurse and a mother and do a lot of it on my own, and yes, I felt very alone at times too. Um and I couldn't do it all, and I had to start saying no to my editors that I have been working with, and I thought, man, you know what? A bummer. There goes my writing dream. But at the same time, something this could be one of those moments too that you were talking about. Something just came out of me and it was like, you don't need to write that stuff anyway. Anyone can write that stuff. Anyone can go travel and write what an editor wants to hear. But Amanda, only you can write what is in your heart and what you are learning and what is just bursting forth now with how much I was learning in that situation. And so I did. I wrote my memoir, and it was really, really a great hit. But I will say one thing about that is, writing it, I was in my 30s at the time. Um, this is hard to say, but I had not yet forgiven Aaron, my ex-husband, and I had not forgiven myself. And so anytime when I'm working with an author who wants to write their book, that is the first question I ask. Have you forgiven everyone, including yourself? Because if you have not, don't write about that. Don't write about that part. Don't write about it yet. Because then you're writing through that lens of resentment, and it comes across in the writing, and I'm sorry to say that's in my memoir. It feels that way, even though I didn't say anything negative, nothing mean, like he did nothing wrong. It was the lens that I was seeing it through, and I felt lonely, and it definitely comes across in the book.
You talk about your resilience in your books in such a beautiful way.
Aw.
Really touched me. You talk about the bird flipping over. In your lowest moments, like that bird that you talk about, what kept you from giving up? And what flipped you over?
Yeah, that's beautiful that you took that like that. And I just wanted to clarify that that particular story is from my novel, that one of the characters in that, he had the bird come tunk, hit the window, and he was so worried about it, and he wanted to help it, but he watched the bird do it himself, flip over, and that inspired him to do the same, but you're asking me about myself. What makes me flip over? That's great because I do put myself in all my characters. I am all my characters. If anyone ever asks, how'd you come up with that person? Oh, that was me. That was me. But yeah, the bird and just going through that little scene where somebody can even watch us as the bird and be like, wow, should I help? But we have to flip our own selves over because that gives us the most resilience to say, okay, whew, I did that. It's
Mm.
time to fly again. And for me, I just feel like I have to be here for my son. I, yes, he has other people in his life that he could go be with, but if I wasn't here, he needs me so much because growing up with me, I know all his nuances, what he's trying to say, because his speech is pretty good, but not everyone can understand him all the time.
Your journey, at the end, it's a mom and her son. It's not complex at all to you. It's complex to the people who are looking from outside.
Sure.
What went on with your life after that that became even more of a challenge to you and you had to rise up again from?
Yeah, one of my huge challenges that I had throughout my life also was binge drinking. I started, drinking in high school and it was fun. And I was like, wow, we power hours and all that stuff. And then I went to college and I was in a sorority, bless it. And I learned to drink even harder and faster. Like it was a sport. And I'm talking about drinking alcohol, okay? Like it was a sport. And
Yeah,
I always wanted to win.
yeah.
And I just, it was something I was good at. Oh, terrible. And then I moved to a different state with my little guy's dad, and I really had a drinking problem, and he told me that. But I didn't want to listen to that. If someone's like, "Oh, you got a problem," well, I
Yeah.
don't want to hear that. And
That's before marriage and before you.
before marriage, during, and then once I had my son, I couldn't do that. It was when I'm in charge of him. No, I can't do that. I think I did it maybe twice. Accidentally got a little out of control while I was in control of him. And I do not feel good about that. That's like the most shameful thing
Mm,
in my life. But every time he would go be with his dad or be with my parents or something, I would just get blasted. And the rest of my free time without my son, having a break, I was useless. I was completely useless.
mm.
And I I really had some hard time. I would just hide, heaving in
Oh,
the bushes, hating myself that
mm,
I did that again.
mm,
And I did that so many times. And you'd think that after all the days of my life that I spent hungover, that actually turned into probably years
mm.
of my life. Times I talk in the memoir about this
Yeah,
because I did quit drinking while I wrote that memoir because I had this vision that it was going to kill someone. I didn't see who it was going to kill, but I saw a funeral when I asked for a vision of what's going to happen with this, and I saw a funeral and I thought, "Wow,
interesting.
that's enough. I'm going to stop." But then um
No,
after my divorce and after some other relationships that didn't work out, I got off the wagon and I started again and just raring. And I didn't like it though. I knew it wasn't good for me.
mm.
And I finally got to the point where I thought I was in a socially acceptable drinking mindset. Okay, I can go out and have a three with my friends on the weekend and it's okay. And I
Yeah.
thought that was okay. But the universe intervened and said that was not okay
Oh, yeah.
because one day I was out at a 5th of July celebration because the 4th of July was too cloudy or raining and we couldn't do fireworks, so whatever. Then that that night, I just, well, I will say that I was socially acceptably drinking for the few days before that because it was 4th of July weekend and I didn't have my kid. I
Yeah.
got him back on the Monday, and then by Tuesday, um, I had to take Midol because it was my time of the month and I had severe cramping, and that has acetaminophen in it, which you're not supposed to take if you're drinking. But this day, when I was in charge of my son, the last thing I remember, it was still daytime, and I just don't remember anything else until I was underneath a street light, like peeking up in the dark with a paramedic holding a towel over my face. I'm like, what is going on? And he said, you fell off your bike and you smashed your head into the road, and I am trying to stop the blood. And wow, okay. I don't really have too much other memories of that moment. I
Mhm.
woke up in the ambulance and I was mad. I was like, I never called an ambulance. Why am I here? Well, of course, I'm bleeding out of my skull.
And
And so,
out of your heart because it was
oh,
painful for you, right?
oh, well, at the moment, I didn't even realize the extent of the situation. But yeah, I got sewn up, and luckily, Brady's dad was around. It was summertime, so he take care of him while I tried to heal up from this horrible concussion. My face swelled just totally purple. I could hardly see out of my eye. I mean, it was bad. I wondered if I was going to come out of that. I'm so grateful that I can still remember things. I'm grateful I can still speak and move and talk, and just you really realize how grateful you are to just be a regular human being when you're at the verge of it all being taken away. But yeah, you like you said, it was the most shameful moment of my life.
Wow.
And that was July of 2022. And healing up from that, I knew I couldn't have a drink. Like, why would I have a drink if I'm healing from a concussion? And then I spoke with one of my best friends. I said, well, if I ever drank again, and she said, why would you do that? Don't you don't you see what just happened?
Hmm.
And at first I was a little bit offended, like, oh, whatever, it was socially acceptable. But no, I think that was a really powerful message to
Yeah.
say, you got to stop completely.
Mm.
Because it was too hard for me to stop once I started.
Mm.
And yeah, it's a little bit hard to talk about this. Not too hard, not too bad, because I'm not the only person, who's gone through this. And yeah, I haven't drank since then. I
These subjects are stigmas we cannot talk about openly. No, we
Mm,
can. No, we can. And drinking is not allowed in our religion.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
But a lot of people who are severely addicted to alcohol, they ruin their families, they ruin their
mm,
lives. And in my own family, relatives, I have who have been suffering from this addiction and they could never come out of it. You see? And it
mm-hmm.
was always sad for me because they are people I love. And to watch them waste their lives, although they hold positions in life, by the way, like they have a job, they go to the job half sober, but but then at night they waste themselves because that's the way they wanted to cope with life. And
And yeah, I haven't drank since then. I drink in my dreams. Is that funny? Like,
God, it's your subconscious
yeah, just
because of
once in a
all
while.
the complex emotions and feelings that comes with the shame that you were carrying. And shame is a silent killer because we all have things
Ooh.
in our lives that nobody knows. They're hidden, they're inside us, but they can be killing us. Like they can put us down, so down, and our confidence. And when we see ourselves little in our own eyes, it is so hard to move forward with life. You think, oh, I'm an imposter. You doubt yourself. I want to ask you, how did you begin to release that shame?
But I don't want to let God, I don't want to let the people, I don't want to let people down again. Well, for one, it's my son. We're just such a great little duo and a great pair, and he's a big catalyst. But the other thing is that I am here on this planet right now for a very important reason, and that is to help raise the consciousness of humanity to its highest potential.
Mm,
And I just feel like I am here to help do that in all the ways that I can. And so that's why I love to create, I love to write, and I love to do a podcast, and I love to blog and do little videos of inspiration and all this. I'm here right now, and I really want to just do my best, and that's always going to keep me going. I think if whatever I'm trying to do is the right thing and it's helping me to do that, then I'm going to flip over and I'm going to get up and I'm going to fly with it again.
yeah, I love that. I love that. And that's
Oh.
resilience.